Hey champions, it's Tuesday. I hope you're having a great day. Yeah, let's just jump into it. I don't have much else to say. I do have a few intro things. So just before I started recording this, got the notification that Haruren dropped their box opening for J2. I think it's going to be a great video to go watch. So if you get the opportunity, go check out that video, enjoy it, and have a great experience. It's always fun watching people open up boxes. I know right now everyone's getting to that point where they're like, I've seen so many people open boxes. I just want to start opening them myself. It's coming soon, Friday. It's just a few days away. So I hope when you start opening boxes on Friday, you're encouraged to take some photos, create some content yourself, and share that with the community, because we'll love to have more people just generate content with us. On top of that, last night, Decks and Drafts dropped a video. I will leave a link to it regarding their review of Genesis, and I loved it. They were super critical about the beta starter kit and all the parts about it that were not good, and we'll own up to that. The original beta starter kits were not the greatest intro product to the game. We learned a lot since then. I think the Idris and Raha ones that are coming out are absolutely amazing, and I know that the ones from Origins are going to be even better. So as we make steps forward, we're hoping to add more value, more life to the concept of the starter kits, and make them actually something worth opening. But speaking of that, Zionic Blader actually did a video reviewing the upcoming Idris and Raha starter kit, and that was a great video. If you want to know every single card that's coming in the starter kit, everything you're getting with it, and what's the value add, go check out that video. I think it's perfect for what it's talking about. And then today, I want to give a huge shout out and thanks to Stacks Gaming, because sometimes it's hard for me to decide what card I want to talk about as my spotlight card. And you give me the answer every single day, because you're doing a card of the day, and I just take what card you're doing and then create the companion video to it. So here is my companion video for your card of the day, which was Kabus. And it's funny because way back in the day, I actually created an entire podcast talking about Kabus, because it was when Welcome to Jalar came out, this card was highly sought after, and it was, I think everyone was looking for 20, 30 copies of them, but none of them were floating in the singles market because the card was so hard to get. So let's start with the artwork here. Philip did an amazing job making this piece. However, I don't know if it's just me, but whenever I see this, I think of the ghost from Ghostbusters. This has more of a Venom meets that ghost. I can't remember the ghost name. If you do, leave a comment so I can have that name, but it reminds me of that ghost. So you combine those two together and you get this. I love this artwork for so many reasons, but for you to understand why this artwork fits into game so flavorfully, let's switch over to the card from Welcome to Jalara. So Kabus, 2 health, 4 awareness, 3 chi, which is the critical thing here. We're in Axon. This is a summon that is a nightmare. Its action speed beckon. The cost is discarding a card from your hand. Okay, we'll talk about strategy in a little bit. Then what it comes with it is a swift dark attack 2. Now let's read this flavor text. Kabusses are interesting creatures. Where most summons are beckoned having aura or blood magic, Kabusses beckon by facing your deepest, darkest nightmare, bringing your deepest, darkest nightmare to life. So I know I kind of butchered that. I'm reading it off screen. I didn't get the exact text, but that's okay. The point here is that most summons that you think of in the game are either costing you aura. That's majority of summons. A few of them have a combination of aura and energy, like Gilded Stag. Some of them cost you health, like Death Eater. Kabus is the only summon in the game that currently just costs you discard. Discard 1 card. That's the only cost off. Now, what is discarding a card? We talk about the fact that your hands are your thoughts. So if you have a thought in your hand and you're converting it into a Kabus, what does that mean? How is that happening? And that's where this is coming about, is you're taking your nightmare, the thing that you're dwelling on, something you fear so much, and you're letting it drive you insane. We talked about madness before, how madness is a hand destruction in Genesis. The flavor behind that is insanity, like we see in Selective Amnesia and Unhinged and Neurum. It's this idea of going insane to bring forth your deepest fear, a nightmare that you have. That's what Kabus is. So that's how it's working mechanically. Now, if we go back to the artwork, you have Rain there standing in the middle of the Sahas arena. Her shadows of the Ancient Ones circling around her, almost like this is a incantation, this is a conjuring spell. And on top of that, coming straight out of her mind is the Kabus. So this is one of the few summons that actually has a champion present in the artwork. The other being Necrolich, where we see the same kind of concept played out, where Necrolich is already in the arena, holding onto Rain's head, reading her thoughts and finding her memories, and then conjuring something out from the memories. So again, we have this concept of connecting the head, the thoughts into the artwork. So that's where some of that flavor comes in of why this card's so cool. Now let's talk about mechanically why this card's so powerful. The reason why this card had so much favor in the game is because it only costed discarding a card. And for anyone who's played a long game of Genesis where you run out of aura, when your timeline is very thin and you don't have a lot of options for you, Kabus is a great option because it allows you to just discard a card that you normally cannot play to get a summon onto the arena, which can give you turn advantage, which can give you damage output. There's so much value add that Kabus can give you. Now, this card was seen heavily favored in Welcome to JLR, but it's kind of fallen away. When we look at the Welcome to JLR version, this card did have an epic version, which was complete full art. I've seen a few people have this card. It looks absolutely gorgeous. If you have this, hold on to it because it's definitely going to be a memento of those days when the epics were literally just full art versions of the regular cards. Now, this card, starting in JLR 2nd edition, shifted down to uncommon. Why did we shift it down? It's because the demand of this card was so high, but the value out of this card is not reached until you have enough of them. It's not a card that if you put one of in your timeline or two of in your timeline, you get a lot of value out of this. It's a card that you need at least 5 or 6 of. So to get that many, it didn't make sense to put them in the rare slot. It made sense to put them in the uncommon slot. You get the same flavor text coming here again. This card definitely can give you a lot of value add if you're particular champions. Now, why is this not played in every Axon deck? Well, one, Axon has a lot of great 3G cards. You have Pressure Point, you have Shutdown, you have if you're playing a different, any other affiliation has their 2-1 equivalent, and then you have Kabus. So the downside about Kabus is if you're playing a deck that is high tempo or very aggressive, then you're going to be playing your cards way more often than just holding on to them. So in most summoner decks or fighter decks, you're dropping cards to keep momentum going. And then you're not having cards that you can just discard comfortably to Kabus. Where Kabus does have a lot of value at is in a Nubia deck, where she's drawing a lot of excess cards, and a lot of them she may never play. So Kabus is a great combination for Nubia. It's a good combination for Rain, because Rain, it needs to be very conservative in the cards she plays, because she always wants to be able to access Living Shadows when she absolutely needs it. So dropping every single card at a moment is usually not the best play for Rain. You want to slow play the game, snipe in some damages, use those little resources as you can, kill things off with just your basic attack if you can, because that's only costing you exert, and only play cards from your hand when they're extremely valuable. So Kabus does have some value here, because a lot of times you're going to be sitting on cards that are situational, and when you don't want them anymore, you have a Kabus engine to just discard them. So I think Kabus is a great card. I hope that you find some time to throw this into your deck and play around with it. Find the strengths, find the weaknesses, and realize that not every card is designed for every deck. This card is not great for certain playstyles. I know some players like Alex or myself, we don't run Kabus. I'd rather run Pressure Point, Shutdown, or even a summon that costs Aura than run a Kabus, because every card in my deck is too valuable for me to just be willing to discard one to a Kabus. It's not a card for me, but for some people, I know Steve-O is a huge fan of Kabus, so this is an opportunity to get more of them and see which card's right for you. That's everything I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all our Patreon subscribers, to all our future leaguers, and to all the stores that support us, and to everyone who watches these videos. I love reading your comments. It's been such a blast getting to know so many of you and keeping those relationships going, despite the fact that the community is growing so rapidly that there's so many of you that I have never met before. But some people I get to meet through Patreon and get to meet through Discord, get to meet because they just find me on Facebook and add me as a friend, and we start chatting Genesis. So however we've had the opportunity to chat, I'm very grateful for that. Thank you and have a great day, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye.